Arnold Schwarzenegger has recently released a book. It's called Be Useful, and in this video I'm going to talk about it. Watch through to the whole video, get an idea of what we can learn from Arnold and find out if the book is right for you. Let's start with a quotation from the book because it really gives you a good idea of what the book is about. Towards the end of the book, Arnold writes this: "A book like this is a conversation between two people, the audience and the reader, you and me. It's not me talking to the whole world, it's me talking to you." By the way, I've got a few quotes from the Arnold book here, but I'm not going to try and pretend to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. You'll just have to imagine Arnold's accent and his voice as you listen to me, if you can do that. The basic spoiler alert here is that if you are an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, then you're going to enjoy the contents of this book and appreciate the stories and lessons that he offers. It's basically like having Arnold as a coach sitting next to you or in front of you with his cigar and coaching you through, giving you some life advice. There are 7 chapters to the book, with each chapter representing one of the 7 tools mentioned in the subtitles. Here are the 7 chapters that he covers. Number 1, have a clear vision. Number 2, never think small. Chapter number 3, work your ass off. 4, sell, sell, sell. 5, shift gears. 6, shut your mouth, open your mind. And number 7, break your mirrors. Let me explain a little bit about each of these chapters now. So, chapter number 1, the book starts after the introduction with have a clear vision. Obviously, this chapter title explains itself, really. You've probably heard this advice many times before and already know it. The thing is, coming from the voice of Arnold gives us another way of listening and absorbing this information. Arnold starts by saying that people are unhealthy, disappointed in their jobs, they feel lost and generally despondent. The main reason for this is that people have not really sat down, taken the time and decided on a clear vision that they want to have, and as a result they've just settled for whatever comes their way, whatever they can get. Here's a quote from the book. "This is what happens when you don't have a clear vision in your life, and you've taken either whatever you can get or whatever you thought you deserved." Arnold recommends starting with a broad vision and, as you get more experience, focusing that vision into something more specific. I think this is an important point. It reminds me of Cal Newport's point related to passion. This is the idea that you don't start with passion, you basically arrive at passion once you have been doing the work and you get to know what you like and what you don't like. Okay, chapter number 2, and the title is Don't Think Small. Again, this chapter title is pretty clear. Now, Arnold introduces us to a German phrase that I think is worth remembering. And excuse my German pronunciation, but the phrase goes like this: Wenn schön, denn schön. And apparently this translates as, if you are going to do something, then do it. Go all in. So this is a useful little phrase to remember to give the full commitment to your tasks. Of course, as you can guess from the title, Arnold shares a lot of stories about his achievements and why it is important to never think small. An interesting point is talking about the difference between achievable and unachievable goals, where there is some debate whether you should really set yourself completely unachievable goals and put yourself up for disappointment. This is what Arnold Schwarzenegger says about that topic. If you only aim for a smaller goal, the bigger goal is automatically out of reach, in part because you are no longer motivated to go in and focus on all the little things that make the difference between greatness and good enough. We're now at chapter 3, ladies and gentlemen. The title of chapter 3 is Work Your Ass Off. And you can guess what the content is about in this chapter. Arnold shares some good stories about how hard he's worked, including the story of when he was doing his bodybuilding, he was spending 5 hours a day working out. 2.5 hours in the morning and 2.5 hours at the end of the day. So this is your David Goggins chapter, if you like. In this chapter, I think Arnold makes a good point on the value of working your arse off, because sometimes we kind of think to ourselves, why am I doing this? What's the point? And the temptation just to enjoy ourselves watching Netflix and relaxing or something is always there all of the time. This is the point that I liked to read. He talks about Edmund Hillary. Imagine if Sir Edmund Hillary had been dropped off at the top of Mount Everest by helicopter, instead of trekking to it over 2 months in the spring of 1953. The point here is that working as hard as you can allows you to appreciate your achievements much more intensely. And all that effort allows you to see how much more you are capable of. Chapter 4 then is titled Sell, 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 and this is all about the idea that whatever you do, you need to have that sales mentality. Of course, the book is not a sales manual, so don't expect too many specific sales strategies in terms of what to say and talking about features and benefits and all that kind of stuff. It's more about the attitude of being a salesperson. From the book, the purpose of getting crystal clear on your vision and thinking about how it's going to happen is to sell yourself on the possibility of your own dreams, as well as emphasizing the importance of having a sales mindset. Arnold offers us a bit of advice, such as know exactly who your customer is, give them more than they expect, and to be honest and deliver an authentic story. He says, nothing sells better than a true story from a genuine person. Chapter number 5 is called Shift Gears. This chapter is about the need to adapt and take a positive attitude on the challenges and roadblocks that you might face. It's similar to Stephen Covey's idea of be proactive. So being proactive and shifting gears, it's about choosing your reactions to the situations that you face. In this chapter, Arnold gives a nod to Stoic philosophy. He mentions amor fati. Amor fati, of course, means love fate. Here's a quote from this chapter. If you can choose joy over jealousy, happiness over hate, love over resentment, positivity over negativity, then you have the tools to make the best of any situation, even one that feels like failure. This chapter also has some interesting points about risk. According to Arnold, we should basically welcome risk. Risk is a really subjective concept. Your measurement of risk depends on a couple of things. It's not just about the dangers that could arise from taking an action, but it's also about the positive consequences of taking an action. And to summarize risk, he gives a rather typical Arnie one-liner: what do you have to lose? Okay, chapter 6 is called Shut Your Mouth, Open Your Mind. Can you guess what this chapter is about? Well, the key is in the last phrase, open your mind. And this is basically about being a sponge and learning as much as you can. Now, in this chapter, Arnold talks a little bit about the college education system and essentially questions whether it's worth going into debt of maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're in the States just to get a college degree. It's not always necessary. Arnold believes that the world can be your classroom and that you should learn from other people by talking to them, watching what they do. He's got lots of stories of the things he learned from his work experience in various industries. Now, chapter number 7 is called Break Your Mirrors. And of course, this is the last chapter in the book. It's also one of the most inspiring and enjoyable chapters to read. Break Your Mirrors refers to the idea of just looking at yourself in the mirror and being too self-centered, which is a bad thing. You need to stop thinking about yourself so much and consider other people, how you can help them, and generally be more of a selfless person. Recognize that achievement depends on interdependency. From the book, none of us have ever really done anything on our own when you think about it. We have always had help or guidance. In this chapter, Arnold shares some really inspiring stories about how he has helped others and the kind of projects that he is involved in to make the world a better place. And that's the really good part of this chapter, reading those stories and feeling motivated that, yes, you can also do something too. Arnold relates that his greatest pleasure has been not from the millions of dollars he has made or the fame he has acquired. It's from the way he has been able to help others and make their lives better, and some of the impactful projects that he has worked on. Okay, so they are the 7 chapters of Arnold Schwarzenegger's new book, Be Useful. Let me know in the comments, do you have this book? Have you read it? And what did you think about it? For me, I think this is a good book and it is worth buying. Even though the content doesn't essentially carry anything new or any amazing insights, obviously with Arnold Schwarzenegger as the messenger, it has an impact on us. And it's a good reminder of how we can keep on the path to success and achievement. Another thing is, the book is pretty easy to read, and I'm sure you'll get through it in no more than 2 weeks, probably less. Arnold's got the balance right here, where he doesn't sort of overdo things with his points. He gets the points across and shares stories to explain and emphasize those points, but doesn't go too far. I've put a link in the description if you want to get the book on Amazon, so just click the link to order it. Thank you so much for watching through to the end of this video. I hope that it's given you a good idea of what the Arnold Schwarzenegger Be Useful is all about. Remember to put some comments downstairs in the comments section, and if you haven't subscribed to Spirit and Action, just take a second to subscribe and get notifications for when there are more videos. At Spirit and Action, we look at how you can develop and strengthen your mindset and take action to make your life better. So why not subscribe? Have a wonderful day, afternoon, morning, evening, week or weekend. I'll see you in the next video.